Not every killer is born evil. Some are made by trauma, by disorder, and by a lifetime of pain left untreated. Today, we go beyond the headlines and into the minds of those who kill. Was it cold-blooded cruelty or a broken mind pushed too far? When someone commits an unspeakable crime, our first instinct is to label them monster, sociopath, pure evil. But criminal psychology forces us to ask a harder question. What if they were victims too? In 90% of homicide cases, motive is more than money or revenge. It's personal, emotional, psychological, and sometimes it's rooted in trauma. Consider this. A man kills his wife after years of emotional abuse. Is he a murderer or a mind that finally snapped? That line, the one between cold calculation and emotional collapse, is razor thin, and it's what criminal profilers spend their lives trying to understand. Mental disorders behind the crime. 1. Antisocial Personality Disorder, ASPD. Often mistaken for psychopathy, this disorder is marked by lack of empathy, repeated law-breaking manipulation and deceit. Many serial killers, like Ted Bundy, show ASPD traits, but not everyone with ASPD kills. The difference is intent and impulse control. 2. Narcissistic Personality Disorder, NPD. These individuals crave power, admiration, and control. When they feel humiliated, rejected, or ignored, they can become dangerous. Think Chris Watts, who murdered his family to maintain a double life. His charm masked his narcissistic rage. 3. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. While not typically associated with violence, untreated PTSD, especially in war veterans or abuse survivors, can lead to dissociation, emotional numbing, or outbursts. Some mass shooters have shown signs of unresolved trauma, left to fester until it exploded. In the interrogation room, silence speaks volumes. Criminal psychologists watch for micro-expressions, eye contact, body language under pressure. Some suspects go stone cold, others break within minutes. But why? Guilt, fear, and narcissism all show up differently under questioning. A sociopath might lie effortlessly, no sweat, no stutter. But someone faking innocence often overperforms, too calm, too rehearsed. Then there are those with trauma. They might stare blankly, disassociate, forget crucial events, which leads police to ask, are they hiding the truth or reliving it? Every killer has a story, and behind that story is a profile, shaped by childhood, environment, and experience. FBI profilers look for early abuse, family violence, animal cruelty, or fire setting in youth feelings of powerlessness. These aren't excuses, they're explanations. Case example, a teenager shoots up a school. On the surface, evil. But dig deeper. He was bullied, isolated, mentally ill, and obsessed with revenge. Psychology asks, could it have been prevented? Criminal profiling is about prevention as much as prosecution. It asks, what created this mind? And how many more are being made right now? Some kill for power, others for love or rage or fear. But in every crime, there's a mind behind the motive. If we ignore that mind, we miss the warning signs. If we dismiss them all as monsters, we'll never see the next one coming. Some people snap, not because they're monsters, but because they've been broken for far too long. Hurt people, that's what they say. But what happens when years of silence, abuse, and buried rage finally erupt? This isn't about justifying murder. This is about understanding how trauma can quietly build a killer. No one sees it coming. A quiet woman murders her husband. A bullied teen becomes a school shooter. A former soldier takes out civilians in a rage. These aren't senseless acts. They're the result of emotional landmines that were stepped on one too many times. Trauma doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, every day, for years, until it explodes. Clinical psychologists call this complex trauma, a slow, corrosive pain that rewires the brain's survival system. Studies show that 60–80% of violent offenders report childhood trauma, physical abuse, sexual assault, neglect. Think of trauma as an internal fire. Most people learn to contain it, but for some, the pain keeps burning until all that's left is survival instinct. Case study: a young woman kills her father. The media calls it cold-blooded. But what they didn't report? He raped her for 10 years. She told no one. No one listened. So one day, she ended it herself. Was it justice, or was it PTSD with a trigger? There's a term you don't hear often: moral injury. It's what happens when someone is forced to do or endure things that violate their core values. Soldiers feel it. Abuse victims feel it. It creates rage, not just at the abuser, but at the world that allowed it. When someone loses faith in justice, they make their own. That's when trauma becomes dangerous. They don't always look like killers. Sometimes they're just exhausted, hopeless, backed into a corner where violence feels like the only way out. "I wasn't trying to kill him," one woman said through tears. "I just needed him to stop hurting me. For good." Here's the harsh truth. Most trauma-based crimes are preventable, but the system doesn't intervene until it's too late. Schools ignore the signs. Courts fail to protect victims. Police doubt their stories. And the broken are left to survive however they can. Some heal, some hurt, and some turn into the very monsters they were running from. Case study: a 16-year-old boy strangles his stepfather. Psychiatrists later reveal he was defending his little sister from years of hidden sexual abuse. The boy had no priors, no violent history, just trauma, buried and denied. So where's the line? When does a victim become a criminal? When does survival become murder? In the eyes of the law, the answer is black and white. In the eyes of psychology, it's grey. Very, very grey. Trauma doesn't excuse the act, but it can explain it. And if we fail to understand the why, we'll never stop the next one. Because somewhere, right now, a child is being broken. A woman is staying silent. A man is losing his grip. And unless someone listens, truly listens, we will hear about them again. Not all killers are monsters. Some were made. And if trauma built the rage, then healing, maybe, is the only way to stop it. This is Verdict Voice, and we ask the questions the courtroom won't. Subscribe for stories that don't just show the crime. They expose the mind behind it. Because until we understand the broken, we'll never truly deliver justice.